The Count of Monte Cristo. Villains are not born, they are made. I definitely recommend reading this book. He can settle down. He comes to ruin them. Dramatic revenge story, aka wake up and smell the justice. I don't even know what this video is gonna be about, but let's see where we can go with this. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to talk about a really nice, interesting book. I think it's like one of the best books I've ever have experienced. It's a classic that catches your attention for the whole book. It's not a small little tiny baby, it's a book on a bigger size, but it's worth it. In the beginning of this year, I was super tired of reading romance books and fantasy books, and I had a huge desire for something classic, for something interesting. And when I was searching for the top 100 books that every person should read in their lifetime, I found this book. The plot of the book, it grabbed my attention. So here we are with you guys. I have finished reading this book in the beginning of April. So yeah, I've spent, I think, the whole March reading The Count of Monte Cristo. I was reading it in my language because in English, sorry, it's too complicated for me. But I did buy this book in English because I'm putting it on my bookshelf and I'm bragging about reading this book to everyone who enters my home. So please do not, because you will hear a story about Count of Monte Cristo, everyone who enters this place. To grab your attention for this book, I will tell you this. This book was published in 1840s, and it wasn't published like the whole book like we receive them now. It was published by chapters, so not the whole book, but chapter by chapter. That's why the book has so many cliffhangers and interesting like plot twists in the end of the chapters, because he wanted to engage readers to read the book. And this was like a TV show for them. So they were like watching Edmond Dantes and his life and his story, and the way they were like anxious about what will happen next and how he will fulfill his purpose in life. Dramatic revenge story, aka wake up and smell the justice.
Your eyes, what a cruel kind of beautiful, the kind that autumn envies. They remind me of golden leaves caught in the wind, of old books with stories aching to be told.
Let's read it together. Thrown in prison for a crime he hasn't committed, Edmond Dantes is confined to the grim fortress of it. There he learns of a great hoard of treasures hidden in the Isle of Monte Cristo, and he becomes determined not only to escape, but also to use the treasure to plot the destruction of the three men responsible for his, incarceration. That's why I don't read books in English. Shortly, this is a story about a sailor named Edmond Dantes. He's a good guy. In the beginning of this book, he is 17/18 years old. He's a young guy, hardworking man who has such a nice personal traits. He can lead the ship, and he became a captain of a ship. He had so many people who were envy of his success in this young age, and those people, they decided to write a letter saying that he is a bad guy and that he committed a crime, which he didn't. And that letter goes to one of the main court guys, and he decided to send him to the prison. In the prison, Edmond Dantes spends 14 years of his life. So imagine, in the beginning of the book, he is a young guy, such a successful man who can do so many things in his life, and then one day everything ruins, like for nothing, because he didn't commit any crime. And I think my favorite part in this book will be his years in the prison, because we can see how he evolves from a young man who see only good things in people. He spent 10 years of his life in prison thinking that it was just a mistake. He haven't even thought that someone could have set it up. And in the prison, he meets such a nice character. I don't have his name in here, I think. But there was an old gentleman in the prison, and they meet because he tries to escape. So they kind of like encounter each other and they start work together. That older guy, he is wise man. He teaches Dantes all the things he knows, all the subject he knows, like mathematics, physics, chemistry, history, geography, everything. Like so many things. He is like a father figure for him in the prison. And he tells him that listening to you explaining the day when you went to prison, I think that those people, 3 of them, they set it up, they did everything, so you will be here. And in that moment, Edmond Dantes wants revenge. He never thought that there's so much ugliness and evil in this world until the older guy opens his eyes. And that's like the breaking point in the book. He wants to get out of this prison because not only he is so tired to be there, but to make everything possible to ruin those people's life. Like, karma is a bitch, we all know this, and this book is about karma. My favorite part is in the prison, and in there he also discovers that there is such an island as Monte Cristo with so many treasures, like gold, money, and some jewelries, everything. So when he comes out of the prison, which is really nice way how he decides to do this, and I won't give you like so many spoilers in case you want to read the book. I'll just give you the main things. We all know he went to the prison, and we all know that he came out of the prison, because how would he do the revenge thing if he didn't? Next part of the book is him getting rich bitch, and coming back to the places where those people live. Those people who did this thing to him, they all succeeded in their lives. So he comes to ruin them. At some point, I was feeling bad for him, and I love Edmond Dantes. I love him as a character. He evolved so much, but at some point of this book, you just think if it's like worth it. It just unconsciously creates a question that you like ask yourself close to the ends of the book. Does revenge gives you a peace of mind, or does it give you more suffering? Because you can see his character and you can feel how lonely he is. Even though he's no longer in the prison, he doesn't tell anyone who he really is. No one knows his real name. Everyone knows him as a Count of Monte Cristo, and the only person who recognized him was the love of his life. She was the only one who recognized him by his voice, by his eyes. Everyone else forgot him. In this whole revenge journey, he can't settle down. He can't let it go. So does it give you that feeling of the peacefulness, or does it give you more suffering? We have to learn about forgiveness, not for every other people, but for us. And this book shows that you can choose either suffer your whole life, trying to be equal, trying to have this justice, to do this revenge and suffer, or you can just accept it. We all have some people who did something to us, and I believe that everyone in their lives at least once were thinking about, or I wish that those people, they would know how it feels. They would know how I felt when they did something to me, right? But how far can this revenge thing go in Dante's hands? Like, imagine you have so much money, so much power, you are still young and you can do so many things, and you like put this whole efforts for revenge. What a destruction you can cause. So much. I definitely recommend reading this book. You will ask me, what is your favorite book? I would say I have two. It's Pride and Prejudice, because it was my favorite. It was my first enemies to lovers. It was my first awakening in romance books. It was a classic, nice book. And The Count of Monte Cristo, which is a life experience. I think all the books that we read in our lives, that they happen to be in our lives at exact moments when we need them. In any book you read, whatever you're going through right now in your life, you will find something that gives you an idea. It won't give you a way of solving your problem, but it might give you some valuable things that changes your idea of your problems. But reading it, I didn't understand one quote. There is neither happiness nor misfortune in this world. There is merely the comparison between one state and another, nothing more. Only someone who has suffered the deepest misfortune is capable of experiencing the heights of felicity. And I was reading it not in English, as you can imagine. I would say it in my words for you to understand it, because of how I understand this. That he says, there's no good or bad in this world. Both of these things you can experience by experiencing them. Only the person who suffered the most can feel happy the most. You have to wish to die to understand how truly valuable life is. And it gives me chills all the time. So after finishing this book, I had so much problems in my life. And at some point, I was just thinking about it. I was thinking about this book and this phrase, like, you only can feel this happiness after you felt such a deep misfortune in your life. And it truly gets me. You can appreciate something without facing the opposite. So we wouldn't know how the happiness feels like if we haven't faced a bad days. And not all bad days are bad for us in the big perspective. Some of them are just leading us to the better life. This book, it gives you so much. That's why I wanted to make this video for you to encourage you to try. If you're like interested in classic read, it might take you some time, but it's definitely worth it. The way you will feel so much emotions, and each character, they have something good and something bad. Something good and something bad. They did their bad things in the beginning of the book, but you might feel better towards them in the end of the book. Or Edmond Dantes, he is a great guy, but throughout the book he does evolve, and you see him from a different perspective. You see his both sides, his good side and his bad side. I think that the most interesting line in this book is how we see Edmond Dantes in the beginning as an innocent, cute little guy, a sailor who like wants to succeed in life and just wants to be married and who cares about his family. And then Edmond Dantes, who becomes a Count of Monte Cristo, the mysterious, powerful guy. Close to the middle and the end of the book, you actually can feel like Edmond Dantes and Count of Monte Cristo. So there is like two people, two of his personalities. The one that was him in the beginning, the guy who died in the prison, and the powerful Count of Monte Cristo who came from the prison and who wants to have this justice. All the characters Alexander Dumas made in this book are amazing. Like, they are so interesting. You want to know more about them. How he connects all of them in the end of the book, wow, amazing. I loved the places in this book. It's a French author, so we mostly are in France, in Paris and Marseille. One part of it is in Italy. Places are beautiful. Like, the book feels amazing. You can look up on Pinterest the Count of Monte Cristo book aesthetic, and you will see it's wonderful.
Your eyes, what a cruel kind of beautiful, the kind that autumn envies. They remind me of golden leaves caught in the wind, of old books with stories aching to be told.
This book is a novel with a little bit of romance in it, a little bit of history, because we do have some historical facts in this book, and it's interesting, surely. Also, it's a little bit of crime and suspense. This book has so many cliffhangers, so it's really hard to put it down. And when you already start to read it, especially when he comes out of prison, it just goes fast pace, because you just can't stop reading it. I know some of the parts you might think like, why do we even read about it? Just trust the process. Sometimes you can see why they talk about some new characters, but in the end, everything falls into place, and you will see how the last 600 pages of this book will just come together. All the pieces of this huge puzzle will just come together, and you're like, wow. The way Edmond Dantes made his revenge is a mesmerizing experience. Remember that villains are not born, they are made. I hope I made you feel like reading this book. I'm sorry if I didn't explain it truly like I feel, because I was reading it in another language. The classic books are not for me to comprehend in English. I usually judge ekranizations of my favorite books a lot, and this is gonna be it. Let's talk about a movie. I didn't like it at all. If you are thinking to watch this book on TV, I would suggest watching this TV show. It's more close to the book. They didn't change any characters, and I prefer this TV show. Like, truly, I do recommend it. It's still not as in the book. I think that the main character, Edmond Dantes, he can be shown to us in any other way than it is in the book. Here, you can truly feel his character, the way he does all his nasty little things with his money. You can only understand him and feel him throughout reading this book. See how much power he has over other people. Like, he considered as a god by himself, and he thinks that God gave him this fortune so he could do the justice. The movie was super bad. I know it looks beautiful. I know I heard so many people who didn't read the book and they watched the movie. They say that it's perfect and it was one of their best experiences, but they changed so much. At some point, I was so tired of watching that movie. Like, I just wanted to stop this and just leave and never watch it again. For sure, it's really complicated to put such a long book, such a big story into 3 hours of movies. When you watch a movie, you watch others people's imagination. Kinda limits yours. But when you read a book, it expands your imagination. That's why I love this process, this hobby. I love to imagine things in my head how I want them. The buildings, the places, the characters, how they look, where they go, where the things taking place. For sure, like, you follow the plot, but you imagine it by your own. Read books, guys. It's a fun little hobby, but expensive. So think about it twice before you start, because you will spend so much money on this, so much money. And then you want to buy a Kindle, and then you want to buy stickers for your Kindle, and then a case for your Kindle, and then so much more, and then again, and more books, bookshelves, and so much. So think about it twice before you start reading books. And TV show has like 8 episodes. Each of them lasts like 50 minutes long, so you have more time, more of his story. They still change some parts, but it's like a tiny little parts. We won't judge this, okay? I loved it. I've been reading so many nice books, and I usually love reading fantasy or like romance books, but some are just such a wonderful life experience books that will leave something inside you forever. So many fantasy books which you finished and forget because they didn't mark your soul. This book will show you a new perspective on life, will give you some nice ideas. I love this type of books. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you when I see you, and remember, the whole human wisdom is contained in 2 words: wait and hope. Okay?